Alright, we're back on the road. We're going to do a little bit of driving thoughts. Again, today what we're going to talk about a little bit is really kind of the foundation of becoming a successful hairdresser. We talked a little bit about this the other day, new guests, retention. But now we really want to dive in a little bit deeper. So let's kind of like hit that hard. Is that cool? I want to talk really about finding new guests and keeping guests. I think working on the guest relationships and the guest retention is probably one of the key things, because it is one of the things that is probably the hardest of all the things in our industry. Is changing our mind frame a little bit. What happens a lot of times when a hairdresser has a client in their chair, all they're thinking about is the haircut or the hair color or the style or whatever they're working on, and that's all they're thinking about. And that's good. We got to think about that because it's our art and our craft. We have to think a little bit deeper. And a little bit deeper meaning like we got to think more long term. That's thinking in the moment. Thinking in the moment's okay for the moment, but what we really need to focus on is the future. And focusing on the future is what drives new business and is what drives the business to grow. So I think we need to change our stand, the way we look at hair a little bit. Think about, why is this client going to come back to me? Think about, how am I going to get this client to come back to me? And think about, how am I going to keep this client for 5-10 years? Those are the thoughts that need to go through your mind while you're working, and just when you greet somebody, you're greeting them, you got to already start thinking about, how am I going to build a long-term relationship with this person? Because if you're just like going through the motions and you're just like greeting them, bring them to the chair, do their hair, and leave, how much vested interest do they have in you, and why are they going to come back? Yeah, maybe I give them a good haircut, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you gave them a great color, but maybe you didn't. You gotta think about the future. You gotta like find a connection. You got to build that connection right away, and you got to make it solid so that they have a reason why they got to come back to you and why they need to. 3 things that I usually look at that I feel like why a client comes back to you. 1, you got to have a common cause. Commonality is huge. If you can find a connection right away, walk up to somebody and first thing you want to do, compliment them. I get this a lot with my glasses. People just walk up to me, random strangers all the time, and they're like, oh my goodness, I love your glasses. And I'm like, why, thank you. I really love them too. Thank you so much. And the first thing I do is I look to find something that I can compliment them on, because we want to build some kind of commonality, and then we can talk about my glasses, their handbag, their hair, whatever it might be. Then we can talk about what I do for a living. Then I can talk about what they do for a living. Part of building this relationship with people is the exchanging of commonalities and just like thoughts and like what they like, what you like about each other. But huge portion of it is listening. You want to really listen and truly listen. You want to hear what that person really is talking about. What are they really saying? Don't listen to it to respond, but listen to it to comprehend. Really hear. And not only just hear what they're saying, but also really watch their body language. The more you watch people's body language, the more that you like actually listen, what'll happen is while you're doing a consultation, you're going to be talking to them about their hair challenges. What challenges do you have with your hair? Let's try to resolve it. Let them explain what's going on. Let them talk about it. Because what happens then is you could say, okay, I'm going to use this product to help you resolve this issue. I'm going to cut your hair this way or color your hair to resolve this issue. I get this a lot of times in the salon. People come in and especially they're gray. They have gray hair. They've been getting their color. Just had this the other day actually. Somebody came in. Somebody was retouching their hair with a solid color and then foiling on top of it, so to give them dimension. They hate how that grows out. They end up with such a strong line, that big strong line of new growth, and it's like such a hard contrast. So what we talked about is like, well, would you rather have a softer grow out and see some gray, or would you rather, which is more important, covering the gray 100% or blending the gray? What happens a lot of times is they're okay. They know that they're gray, so they don't mind if it blends and fades. So I've actually been transitioning so many of my clients. Driving after a long day. But transitioning so many of my 100% gray clients from permanent color to using a permanent color with a 0 lift or 5 volume, so that it gives a softer grow out and doesn't cover the gray 100% off it, because they would rather have it blend. That's me matching a need and trying to resolve something that they're challenged with. A lot of times I also, with hair cutting, I want layers. Every time I get layers, my hair falls flat. Well, we usually know that layers are going to remove weight and push the weight to the bottom, so it makes the hair flat. Especially if they're not going to style their hair. But if they're going to style their hair, okay, no, they want to have volume, but movement. They don't really want layers, they want movement. So what we can do is we can graduate it into slight layers, and then it all folds. What I love is like when my clients are like, oh my goodness, you read my mind. How did you know this is what I wanted? It's not that I read their minds. I don't read their minds at all. But what I do is I listen. I listen to their body language. I listen to what they're saying. I listen to their challenges. All I want to be able to do is solve their challenges. And I have a few options to do that with. I can solve their challenges with 3 things. How I cut it or color it, so the service. I can resolve their challenge with product and teaching them how to use it. Or 3, I can go through and resolve their challenges just purely by listening to them and caring about them, which sounds really weird, but just caring sometimes it's not about how much you cut off. Sometimes it's not about how much you change their hair color. Sometimes it's not about suggestion. Sometimes it's just about listening and caring enough that they respect you and want to come back. And I feel client retention is this is the foundation of it. It's about solving challenges. It's about building a relationship and giving them a reason to want to come back. And I really truly believe that each and every one of us have the ability to do those things. We just have to be able to want to do them And we got to take the ability to like practice doing it. Practice doing it over and over and over until we can't get it wrong. That takes time. It amazes me. I have friends in the industry that I sit and I am flabbergasted how they can build a relationship so quickly and get people to love them so quickly. And I'm still trying to practice on that. I mean, I try. I build a relationship with people, but it takes a little longer. So that's one of my goals. My goal is to like learn how to do it faster and more effectively. And I think it's building that relationship and listening to clients. That's like the first way to retain them. So important. The other thing is you got to think about long term. You got to offer them multiple different reasons why they got to come back. Offer them change. If they don't want to change the first time, offer them change for next time. Whether it be color, whether it be cut, whether it be style, you got to offer them change. Then you need to like push it a little. You don't want to be safe. What happens if you're always safe with your clients and you don't ever change them and you don't push them out of their boundary a little bit? You're going to hate your work. And you're going to be like, oh, I feel so much like a machine. I just feel like I'm doing the same things over and over and over. It's because you probably are. Because we do get stuck in doing the same things over and over and over. So we need to like stop, break that by offering change. It could be as simple as like a bang or swooping the bangs to the other side. Today in class I was talking to one of my models and I'm like, what do you really want? And she's like, you can do anything. Only thing that I ask is that my hair doesn't look finer than it already is. And I could have played it safe. I could have just given her a little cleanup. I could have cleaned it up, fine-tuned, kept a lot of the length, fine-tuned her layers that she had in there, given her a bang. That would have been my big drama. But that's not what she really wanted. Listening to her and watching her, what she was telling me was that she really wanted some change, but she wasn't sure what, and she was a little nervous, and she kind of wanted something shorter. Now, she never told me that, but what she was doing, because I was asking her, like, what's too short, what's too long, what, she's like, well, I don't really want to change it too much, but every time she's like, I've had it as short as here, which is okay, but I don't know. And she just sat here with her hands kind of going like this. And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, all right, she's already telling me this is really what she wants. She wants a really cool little bob. She wants it to make her hair, which is really fine and straight, feel a little bit, have more movement and texture. And I think those are the things we gotta like read into. We can't listen. I mean, if I listened to her, I would have just cut her length safely at the bottom and maybe given her a little bit of a bang. But instead, I gave her a really nice, almost one length bob with a little bit of texture, with a little bit of movement using the razor on the interior to give her some graduation with a really nice, clean, solid line. When it was parted on the side, it was very, very swoopy and a little bit asymmetrical. And I think, and she was just like over the top joy. She's like, felt like she's never felt like before, which is really cool. And that's the part that we love. That's the part that we love. I got rewarded by listening to her words, but also to her body language. So I was like almost reading her mind. I think that's important. Another thing that we have to do is like we can't take our clients for granted, ever. We cannot take our clients for granted. And it's really hard because what happens is first time a client comes in, we give them the world. We offer them everything. You know, we go over the top. We make sure the shampoo is like really good. We make sure that we blow dry their hair really good. Talk about products. We also like do a good consultation. We do our best. First time client, first time they come in, we work really hard. We work really hard, which is cool, which is awesome, because then we do everything. Let's say we did everything right. We rebooked them and everything. Second time they come in, all of a sudden we're like, see them as they walk in or in the waiting. Hey, how's it going? Come on back. Wait, we didn't go walk up to them and greet them and shake their hand to ask them how they're doing. No, we're just like, hey, see ya. Nice to see ya. Come on back. Wait, we need to get the professional back in because this is a key thing. I feel like clients give you 3 opportunities. It's like 3 strikes are out. If you're not, if they don't get a hit in 3, they're moving on. They're going to be gone. First time they come in, we gotta wow them. So they come in a second time. Second time we gotta like wow them because we want them to come in the next time. Third time they come in, we gotta wow them even more. Each time you gotta push yourself a little bit harder to get a better result. Whether it's selling them retail, or whether it's rebooking them, or whatever it might be, you gotta like push it. Because if you're not pushing it and wowing it each time, getting better and better and better, clients, they're going to be like, that's a strike. And if that's a strike, that means they're already looking somewhere else. Big thing to remember, every new guest that sits in your chair was an unhappy client somewhere else. Remember that. Every single client that sits in your chair was unhappy somewhere else. When you start thinking about that, you'll start to realize really quickly, if I wanted to keep them for the future, I gotta wow them every single time. I gotta go above and beyond every single time. That means making sure that their shampoo is really incredible every single time. It means making sure that you teach them and educate them and change the products you use every single time. If you're doing everything the same, you're not wowing them. You're not pushing their boundaries. You're not like encouraging them to try something new. You gotta push them. You've gotta go out of your way in styling their hair. Now, that doesn't always mean you can upsell. You can be like, hey, I'm going to style your hair and hit it with an iron this time. Oh, you know, irons are $10 extra cost. No big deal. And they're like, oh, yeah, no big deal. Great. Do it. But you got to ask them. You got to encourage it. You got to, like, charge for it. But you got to wow them. You got to push it. Because there's 3 things that clients always remember. They remember just these 3 things. They don't remember the haircut. They don't remember the color. I mean, they will. It's like the extra bonus on top. But the 3 things they always remember is they always remember the shampoo. That's number 1. Number 2, always remember how you finish and style the hair. And if you took that extra time, or if you educated them, they will always remember that. The 3rd thing they always remember, how you made them feel. Did you engage them? Did you communicate with them? Did they smile? I mean, every once in a while you get a client who's going to be just like deadpan, no response. Like, hey, I love this haircut. And they're like, it's okay. And and you're like, oh, don't take it personally. You gotta believe in yourself and know that you did the best of your ability. And if you did, awesome. If you didn't, you got some reevaluating to do. But you really want to make sure that you're really concentrating on making sure that the client has the best experience possible. Because if they have the best experience possible, every single time, they're gonna keep coming back. If you challenge them with products and education and push their boundaries a little bit with haircutting instead of just doing the same old thing every single time, they're gonna come back. You gotta push them. If you think about it, it's like, think about yourself in your life, you know? It's like, if you just follow a routine, and it just like gets boring. It gets boring for you. It gets boring for the stylist or whoever's doing your hair or whatever it might be. It's kind of like if you go to a restaurant and every day you go to the restaurant, you order exactly the same thing. Eventually, you're going to be like, why don't I do something else? Or why don't they offer me anything else? Because you walk in and they're like, hey Bob, what's up? Oh, you want eggs and bacon? Great, no, make it. But really, you kind of wanted to change, and you wanted like a burrito. But they still made you eggs and bacon. Because that's what you always ordered. Because that's what it is. You got to change it up. You got to push yourself. And a good server knows that. A good server's not going to always offer you the same thing. Now, they got to push. And you got to push a client just a little tiny bit. Building that reputation. Pushing them. Being consistent. Building for the future. That's what's going to make you a successful hairdresser. Until next time, keep on with your driving thoughts.